Center. Stop in today. And a good morning to you. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Art Lewis Show. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll talk a little golf and Bay Valley golf in particular with the pro out there. Doug Temple will be along. And at 11 o'clock, the SVRC Marketplace is the subject of focus. But for this hour, we're going to talk about something that has been in the news recently and as recently as today, because what's happening in Lansing with the budget affects school districts all over the state of Michigan. And we're going to find out how this morning, because with us we are pleased to welcome to the program the superintendent of the Bay City Schools. We say morning to Grant Hagenauer. Good morning, Grant.
Good morning, Art. Glad to be here today.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
This is not your first rodeo, but last year, as you well know, you had no idea how much money you were going to get until like October.
Yeah, that is correct.
But yet, am I wrong in saying that the school districts are required or supposed to put forth their budget in July 1st?
That is correct. Our budget is to be completed by June 30th, one day before the state is to have their school aid budget done on July 1st. So last night, for instance, our board met, and based on what we believe, based on assumptions, we were able to pass a school budget for Bay City Public Schools on what we believe are boilerplate financials moving forward.
So I have to ask, it seems strange to me that there would be a regulation that requires you to do something before you know what you're doing. It seems backwards. It would seem to me that you'd be required to have a budget one day after the state passes its budget, not before. I mean, why?
Well, Art, that's a great question, and if I was in Lansing, I'd hope I could change those policies and procedures moving forward. But unfortunately, I work for the Bay City Public Schools as a superintendent and CEO.
So let's talk about your budget. You sit down every year. You have to do this. Where do you get your numbers from if you don't know what they're going to be?
We base those on what the House has proposed, as well as the Senate and the governor. Pushing forward this year, what looks to be a foundation grant of increase of $250 per student, and we use that as a boilerplate moving forward. How it hinders us is, in the categorical sense, we do not know exactly how much additional money for at-risk, for mental health, for safety, that can actually be spent.
And one word in the mental health issue. If I remember right, a couple of years ago, they stripped that out, didn't they?
They did, and then last year they put boilerplate legislation in that if you were to accept the 31AA mental health and school safety fund, that you would have to also potentially lose client attorney privilege if you had a major catastrophe happen in the district. So there were many districts that did not accept that money.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, wait a minute now. You had a disaster in your district, and you couldn't privately talk to your attorneys and have privilege?
That's correct. And that did actually go to the state Supreme Court this year, and they did rule in favor of the language as written.
Really?
By the state. Yes, sir.
Because I assume because it's an agreement. But it's a threat agreement. Never mind.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. We could spend some time on that. But that is money that we utilize in Bay City to pay for our school resource officers, our nurses, and our mental health counselors. So it's really something that we need as we move forward to help the safety and security of students.
So because of that need, that means you have to take it out of your regular budget rather than that 31AA budget?
Well, due to the size of our district, we actually did accept the 31AA.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
You did.
We could not operate a district of over 5,800 students with the personnel that we need without that money.
So you're in a way, you were trapped.
Yes, and if you look at a lot of the larger districts throughout the state of Michigan, many of us did take 31AA. So
the bigger districts,
yes,
you had to have that money.
Correct.
Yeah. So when you look at your budget for next year, is it balanced? It has to be, technically, right?
We are very close to being balanced. Yes, sir.
Well, very close.
Very close. Very close. We have some assumptions that if everything goes well, we should see a balanced budget for this year. But we did come in just under approximately $500,000 in deficit.
Is that make up? Can you make that up?
Yes, sir. Our goal is to make that up, and our goal is to work as financial stewards of the district and continue to find ways to try to cut.
You've been there 2 years.
Yes, sir.
You spent all your time doing this.
Yes, sir.
It seems to be anyway.
Yes.
So what kind of educational shape is the district in?
Educational shape in what?
In success rates, graduations, college, all that stuff.
What you'll see in Bay City Public Schools is we have put an emphasis on creating transitions for students. So when they leave Bay City, they will be either employed, enrolled in the university, or enlisted in a military background. So our goal is to transition and get them ready. Our graduation rates are very well. They're in the upper 80 to 90%. And we are seeing our students being accepted at major universities throughout not only Michigan, but through the nation. So we've been very happy with what we're doing as a district and as we're evolving moving forward, especially with the emphasis that we're now placing again back on career technical education.
Which I've talked about till I'm blue in the face over the years. It seems to me we spent over the last couple of decades pushing college to the point of ignoring the trades.
Mm-hmm.
And now, all of a sudden, we woke up because there was a shortage of trades, and now we see a relevance of that kind of education. Have you seen that corner turn in Bay County?
I definitely have seen that corner turn. We have quite a conversations with a lot of trades organizations. We're moving forward on how we can work together to provide opportunities for all students. And I would agree. One of the major mistakes I think we made in Michigan education 20 years ago was the idea that all kids were going to go to college. And now you see that with the trades. When you see the average age of an electrician, of a plumber, of any of our trades that require just as much know-how as anyone going to a college university, their average age are in the upper 60s and 70s. We need to do something. And in Bay County, we definitely are working with the Bay Area ISD, Bay Aranac ISD, and all the locals. Our goal has been to provide an opportunity for all students. And that's our focus at Bay City. We are going to continue to look at career technical education as a primary source of not only preparing our students, but also keeping them home. There's a lot of opportunities in home, and our students a lot of times don't realize that. So we have to educate them as well as the business partners that there's great things happening in Bay County, Saginaw County, and the Tri-City region.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Grant Hagenauer. He is the superintendent of the Bay City Schools, all after these notes. Let me take a moment to talk about potholes. I know, one of your favorite subjects. Well, you can't avoid them if you drive in Michigan. They're everywhere, and they can damage your car. And to find out how important alignment is, I've asked John from Quick Lane Freeland, where, by the way, they're offering you a complimentary alignment check, to talk about your alignment and what it means.
If your vehicle's wheels are aligned correctly, it will not pull to the left or to the right when driving. It also prevents improper tread wear, so your tires last longer. A wheel alignment should be checked often because normal steering wear and tear can cause your alignment to go out, in addition to potholes and railroad crossings. A correct alignment also reduces rolling resistance on your tires for better fuel mileage.
And, of course, better safety. And remember this, too, if you need tires, our friends at Quick Lane Freeland sell all their new tires at just $5 over cost. Stop in today. Quick Lane Freeland, it's on the McDonald Ford property. It's part of the McDonald Ford complex. McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland are both names standing ready to help you with all your automotive needs in 2026.
Big news in the race.
This is a test of the emergency.
All right, we're back with you in studio with me, the superintendent of the Bay City Schools. He is Grant Hagenauer. I have to ask this question. It'd be remiss of me if I didn't. We spend a lot of money on education in the state of Michigan, and it increases every budget. Yet we end up 44th in reading at the third grade. What's the disconnect?
The disconnect, I believe, is the family structure today compared to what it was 20, 25 years ago. I think that's first and foremost. Unfortunately, due to the economy and due to the needs for just a common family to survive in today's society, we have to have both parents working, which a lot of times when a child comes home and needs to do remedial work or wants to take time to read or work on math, the parents aren't home. It has nothing to do with their fault. It's just how we are based as society. I remember growing up in Saginaw Township years ago, coming home from school and having my mom there. My father was a full-time veterinarian. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. We were blessed. Many of my friends were blessed that way. So I think the nuclear family, the transition a little bit there is number one. But I think also, focusing on what we believe is right, having phonics and having things in place that are traditional, that we knew worked well. We need to stay the course. Too often we're in education, we go after the next thing, the best and brightest. And I think a lot of times we stray from the traditional background, and the backstop that got us there.
There's always been a knock on phonics, though, because when I grew up, I was in New York City public schools in the 50s, we didn't have phonics back then to learn to read.
Mm-hmm.
And the knock was that if phonics come in, your spelling goes out. True?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think you have to have a little bit of both in order to actually succeed as a student. Having a good foundation and having a balanced foundation is really what we're trying to strive at Bay City currently.
So if we look at this, not just Bay City, but if we look at it from a state standpoint and the national polling, we bring back phonics full-time. Is it going to fix it?
I don't know if it will fix it. It will help in having what I call a treasure chest of instructional strategies. An experienced and a well-trained teacher that can really emphasize the importance of reading and promote reading is really going to set the standard for children. In the classroom, you want a teacher that's going to inspire and delight. And a majority, if not all, our teachers in today's society is doing that. We have to stop handcuffing our teachers, stop having so many standardized tests. We got to let them flourish.
Oh, you anticipated my next question.
Here we go, Art. Yes, sir.
One of the many things I've preached over the years, I don't have a lot of faith in the National Department of Education or the State Board of Education. Why did they think because they're hundreds of miles from home, they're smarter than the local people who have control over the district? Do we need a state, for example, to tell you how to teach?
I think from the stance that they could set basic guidelines, yes. I think that could be a standard. But we know what's best for our own students locally. We're in the trenches day in, day out. We know what our students need. Our teachers know what our students need, and so do the families. And we work closely with them.
So how do you balance that with the need to teach to the test? Because it seems the test became everything.
Mm-hmm. My philosophy as superintendent and as a principal and as a teacher is I will teach high expectations, and the test will follow. If I teach correctly, and my instructional practice is done at a level that all students are engaged, and I can promote the instructional strategies and really have the students learn those strategies and then take off with them. And then as I monitor them and find gaps, influence them and find instructional strategies that can help fix those gaps, that will teach to the test. I do not chase a test. I think we exceed the standards, which will help us improve on state tests.
As you look at the state, would you say a lot of districts do chase the test?
There are some. I would say, there are some because they're worried about how they look in comparison with others, with other districts. And that also plays into a factor when people are moving into in a community. School of choice also, some parents want schools with high test standards. My focus always is look at the big picture. What does a school district offer now?
Back with you in studio with me is Grant Heckenauer. He is the superintendent of the Bay City Schools. So what got a young Grant to want to become a teacher?
That's a great question. Growing up, I had teachers all the time telling me I was going to go into education. I told them there was no way. I had big sights, Art. I was planning to go out in the real world and get away from Saginaw and move on, and then reality hit. And what really started doing it was I started coaching youth soccer. And the coaching and being able to inspire students and actually see growth in athletics really took me to become a teacher and do the same thing in the classroom. And the best experiences I had was working with students in the classroom, and then which brought me to where I am today, ironically back in the Saginaw Bay City Midland region, the area I thought I'd leave. And when you really grow up, so to speak, you realize that home is a special place.
Unless it's the Bronx, New York. No, I'm kidding.
That's right.
The old saying, you can take the boy out of New York, can't take New York out of the boy.
We say a lot about that in Frankenmuth as well when I was there as superintendent. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you become a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you spent, 18 years in the classroom?
18 years in the classroom, teaching as well as coaching varsity soccer and varsity hockey.
So what made you want to leave the classroom and become administrating?
It was more of a calling, trying to be able to inspire other educators to a high standard. I'm one of those individuals that want to leave their mark in other people, and I thought the best way to do that was to inspire educators and other individuals in a school district to realize their potential and be able to reach more students that way.
So let me put you in front of a class full of, let's say 8th grade mush.
Yeah.
What do you tell them they should become a teacher? Why?
Because it's one of the greatest rewards that you will find in your lifetime. The relationships that you make, if you really are that good of individual, it's amazing the amount of people that come back, say hi to me, remember me, call the title coach. That's inspiring. That's something you can't make up. And understanding the actual influence that you've had on someone else's life, it's unbelievable. That's my greatest reward.
So how would you analyze the crop we're turning out today? A, are there enough of them? Are teachers plentiful? And the quality?
I will say this. I think the quality is still there. I really do. I think what has happened, though, is when they go into the field of education, we need to do a better job of helping them transition from the university setting to the actual classroom environment. And one thing I want to talk about is certification. Certification, we tend to, in the state of Michigan, most of our school districts have 1,500 students or less. We need teachers that are multi-certified, be able to teach math, possibly science, teaching English and social studies. They should have multi-certifications. When I go to a school district, let's say like Bay City, well, I can find and be in 6 hours of government and teaching government all day. If I was to do that in a school district like Frankenmuth, St. Charles, Merrill, I might need a little more versatility because I have to teach different classrooms in different subjects. When we are at career fairs, a lot of times when I look at a resume, A and B, they both seem exceptional people. But I also look at that certification because I might need a little more flexibility, especially if I'm at a smaller district. So I think at the university level, we need to really let the students know and guide them that it's good to have multi-certifications.
Yeah. I had to chuckle when you said most districts are, 1,500, something like that.
Yeah.
My high school graduating class in New York was 1,600. The graduating class. So, yeah, it was a different time.
Yes, sir.
We're all products of where we came from.
Yes,
and our
sir.
backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
I long for those. So I was an only child. I didn't have any siblings. And, the older you get, the more you say, gee, I wish I had a brother or sister and
Right.
fall on,
Right.
But it's interesting the size of districts in the state. There really aren't that many huge districts.
No, they're not. So you look at the state of Michigan, and we're kind of on when you look at the over 500 school districts, we're really on the smaller side, smaller scope. Yes, sir.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with Grant Hagenauer. He is the superintendent of the Bay City Schools, and we will return with more after these notes.
At the Arid Insurance.
All right, so we are back with you in studio with us, Grant Hagenauer, who is the superintendent of the Bay City Schools. So what do you do over the summer in the school system? It's a work time, isn't it?
It definitely is. This is a time where we are reconditioning the schools, doing summer projects. We're currently in Bay City working on restroom projects as well as roofs, and just getting the schools ready for the children come back August 25th. Not to mention that we are also trying to hire those staff positions that we have openings in, and so we're still in a busy time.
You had a capital campaign then for refurbishing and handling mechanical needs of your schools?
Yes, sir. We with the gracious support of the Bay City community, we were able to pass a $72 million bond renewal, which was a no-mill tax increase, but it allows us to continue to support the infrastructure of the district. We called this a needs campaign, not a want. It did not have a lot of extras, bells and whistles, but it definitely highlights that we have buildings that are 100 years old, and yet they are still state of the art, if you ask me, in comparison to our surrounding neighbors. So again, the Bay City community has been a strong advocate of supporting public education, and that was one of the major reasons why I came to Bay City 2 years ago. When we were when I was looking at the sinking fund renewal that they did, passed with 66% support. So I knew that the community was committed to public education.
And it helps when you do it without an increase, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. And that they recognize that there is financial stewards looking over that money and doing the right thing.
So let me ask, if we look in the Hagenauer crystal ball, what's education look like in the state of Michigan 5-10 years from now?
I think what you will see, and if you're looking at what we're hoping to do, is to provide opportunities for all students, and making sure that a student gets the basic needs, reading, writing, at the lower foundation, to build that foundation, as well as what it means to be a positive, active citizen. And transition them into exploratory through the middle schools, and then at high school starting to look at pathways so they transition and they can, again, I will use a phrase that I love to use, as they leave the high school, either are employed immediately, enlisted in the military, or enrolled in a university. It's providing transitions and opportunities for our students above and beyond. I think Bay City, when you look at it, has done a very good job of that. When you look at the alumni that have come and walked the halls, that we need to continue that, and we need to remember who we are and what makes a strong citizen and a strong individual moving forward.
Let me ask two ends of the spectrum here. What help do you provide for a youngster who's having difficulty not making grade? And what help do you provide for a youngster that's way advanced?
Mm-hmm. First and foremost, a experienced classroom teacher that can differentiate their instruction during the school day, and also being able to have supports for those individuals that if there's opportunity, like in elementary school, we have what I need time, win time, to provide them specialized instruction, whether if it's a student that is behind, to give them interventionist time to work on those areas of that they need to grow in, or if it's for the child that is excelling, having an extension to the academic learning that might provide them more opportunity for growth and exploration.
It happens both ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
do that all the time.
Yeah, and I will say classroom teachers have been doing that for years. So we have been blessed with some of the greatest individuals as classroom teachers, because they're the ones that can inspire and delight and work with students with a diverse need base. So, yes.
Like any occupation, there's the learning curve and the practical learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
For a teacher, let's say someone goes to Saginaw Valley State University, gets their teaching degree, gets their certifications in whatever they're going to teach. How long in the classroom before they really understand and are competent in doing it?
My personal opinion is 5 to 7 years. I don't.
Years?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I really believe that. Now, that does not mean they don't have the foundations to do it, but a true master teacher, I believe, it takes about 5 years. It's like playing baseball. You've got to continue to practice. There's batting practice every day. Those teachers have to continue to learn their craft and go out and seek professional development in areas that they might not be strong in, but they are continually to build their craft. I believe at the year 5 to 7, that's where you see our teachers really take off. And, when you're looking for a teacher that has all the it, so to speak, I think it's 5 years. I would look back at my career. Yeah, I thought I was a good teacher, but it was like that aha moment in year 5 when I had all the tools in the toolbox, and I struggled in year 1 or 2 on classroom management potentially, or academic, how to inspire all students and to get them the academic background that they needed. It was that 5-year process, and it was learning from other teachers. It was learning from the experts of the 20-year plus and 30-year plus who had gone through the craft and were able to help guide me to become that exceptional teacher.
What's the difference in a teacher who teaches kindergarten and one who teaches 11th or 12th grade?
Wow, that is a great question. Let me tell you, hats off to the kindergarten teachers. As a secondary 11th and 12th grade teacher, I will tell you this: going into the classroom, they're on call 24/7. There is no lunchtime. They're still out there with the students, so they're engaged with students from the moment they get there till they leave. Those students need them. Where at the higher level, you can focus more on the academic, because by then a child of 11th grade, 12th grade, they've matured. So you can have that relationship.
To a point.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sitting here, Art, at 56. I still ask that question if I've even gotten there yet.
How about 83?
Yes, we're in the same boat, definitely. So I would say that you definitely, when you go into a elementary classroom, you're on call at every moment.
Got to be difficult. You have to wonder too about burnout at that grade level.
Yes. You look at that for that issue. The same thing with special education, because you're always working with high need students. And I'm also going to say, don't forget the bus drivers. The first, I mean, the first face to see a child and greet him in the morning, the last one to say goodbye. I have a hard enough time driving myself to school. Imagine having 65 kids in the bus. I mean, they hats off to them. Hats off to them.
Well, listen, Grant, I want to thank you much for spending some time with us this morning. We'll have to do it again. And let's keep our fingers crossed the legislature does what they're supposed to do and let you know what you're going to look like next year.
Well, I appreciate it, Art. I really appreciate the time spent with you, and I have all the faith in the world that this state legislature will get this budget going, and just to help us propel Bay City forward, as well as the other schools in the state of Michigan. So thank you very much for your time as well.
I appreciate it. Grant Hagenauer, he is the superintendent of the Bay City School District. We thank him for spending some time with us this morning, talking about education, not only from a standpoint of what budgets mean, obviously, but all the other things that go into it. We're going to take a break, come back, we'll tell you what's ahead next hour on the Art Lewis Show, right after these notes.
It's Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, our thanks to Grant Hagenauer for being with us this morning, talking about education. Appreciate it. And coming up, we're going to talk a little golf. Doug Temple, the pro at Bay Valley Golf Course, is going to be with us. And we'll talk more with him about that after the news from ABC and Michael Percho. We'll be back.
Broadcasting from the